Hey guys, and welcome back. Before we start, I need you to picture something. Your cat turns 3 or 4 years old. One morning you look down and there's a tiny black dot on their nose. A few days later, another one shows up on the lip. Then a couple more scattered across the gums. Most owners panic. They assume the worst and rush to the vet. And the vet looks up and almost laughs because nothing is wrong at all. That cat is just doing something almost every orange cat on the planet eventually does. And we're going to explain exactly why later in this video. That's the thing about orange cats. Everybody thinks they know them. Loud, food-obsessed, glued to one person in the house. But underneath that fur is one of the strangest, most scientifically stubborn mysteries in the entire animal kingdom. A genetic mistake that scientists could not fully explain for over 100 years and only cracked wide open in 2025. So here's the promise. Over the next 20 minutes, we're going through the most surprising, most emotional, and most scientifically fascinating facts about orange cats ever compiled into one video, pulled together from the deepest corners of feline genetics, real history, and the kind of behavior science that changes how you look at your own cat. Some of these facts sound made up. They're not. And by the end, you're going to understand why that ridiculous orange animal asleep on your couch right now is a lot more remarkable than you ever gave it credit for. If you've watched our channel before, you know we love these deep dives into cat behavior and genetics. If you're new here, hit subscribe because we've got a lot more of this coming. Let's get into it. Part 1. The genetic mystery. Finally solved. Let's start with the biggest one, because it sets up everything else in this video. Science has understood coat color in animals for a very long time. We know why tigers are orange. We know why golden retrievers are golden. We know why some people have red hair. Every one of those cases has a clean, well-documented genetic explanation, except orange cats. For over a century, researchers looked at the exact gene responsible for orange fur in every other animal, checked it in orange cats, and found it looking completely normal. Something was clearly painting these cats orange, and nobody could pin down what. Then, very recently, two separate research teams working independently finally caught it. It turned out to be a tiny missing piece of DNA, a small copying error so subtle it had hidden from science for over 100 years. And here's the detail that should stop you in your tracks. That exact mutation doesn't exist in any orange animal on Earth. Not tigers, not golden retrievers, not anything. Every single orange cat alive today inherited that one mistake from the same small group of ancient cats. Your cat's color isn't just a color, it's a genetic accident that got passed down generation after generation, all the way to the cat currently ignoring you from across the room. Why your orange cat is almost certainly male. Now here's where that mystery gene gets really interesting, because it explains something you've probably noticed without ever putting it together. Think about every orange cat you've ever met, the one next door, the one in every viral video, overwhelmingly male. Roughly 80% of orange cats on the planet are male, and it's not a coincidence. The orange gene sits on the X chromosome. Male cats only have one X chromosome, so a single copy of the orange gene is enough to turn the whole cat ginger. Female cats have two X chromosomes, which means they need that gene on both copies at the same time, a much rarer roll of the genetic dice. Shelter workers will tell you they can go months, sometimes years, without a single orange female coming through the door. So if there's an orange girl living in your house right now, you're not living with an ordinary cat. You're living with a genetic long shot that decided to move in with you. Orange isn't a breed, it's just a costume. Here's a fact that trips people up constantly. You cannot go to a breeder anywhere on Earth and order an orange cat, because orange isn't a breed at all. It's just a color, and it shows up across dozens of completely unrelated breeds: Persians, Maine Coons, British Shorthairs, and plain old street cats from Cairo to Kansas. Two orange cats can be as genetically unrelated as a Chihuahua and a Great Dane. Different countries, different bloodlines, completely different bodies. And yet, ask their owners to describe their personalities, and you get eerily similar answers around the world. Loud, fearless, food-obsessed, fiercely loyal to one specific human. Somehow, a single color mutation ended up carrying a reputation for personality along with it, and nobody has ever fully explained why that pattern holds up across so many unrelated cats. Part 2. What's actually hiding in that coat? There's no such thing as a solid orange cat. This one surprises almost every owner who hears it. There has never, in the entire history of cats, been a truly solid-colored orange cat. Every single one is secretly a tabby underneath. The reason is genetic. The orange gene responsible for orange fur is physically incapable of switching off the tabby pattern the way it can in a black or white cat. So even a cat that looks like one smooth block of orange from across the room is hiding stripes. Wait until your cat stretches out in direct sunlight and look closely along the side. Faint stripes appear like something drawn in water. And every single orange cat carries a marking shaped like the letter M on the forehead. It's the universal tabby signature, and it's been on your cat's face the entire time you've owned them. There are actually 4 distinct tabby patterns hiding under that orange coat, depending on the individual cat. Thin vertical mackerel stripes down the sides, wide swirling marbled classic patterns across the ribs, broken spots scattered across the body, or a fine salt and pepper ticked pattern so subtle you need direct sunlight to see it. 4 completely different ancient patterns, all wearing the exact same color. The freckles nobody warned you about. Remember that black spot panic from the very beginning of this video? Here's the science behind it. As orange cats age, usually somewhere around their 1st or 2nd year, they often develop small black freckles on the nose, lips, gums, and around the eyes. The medical term is lentigo simplex, and it's completely harmless. It happens because clusters of pigment cells become more active in those specific areas over time, the exact same pigment responsible for red hair and freckles in humans. There is one rule worth remembering, though. Freckles stay flat. If a spot ever raises up, changes shape, or spreads rapidly, that's worth a vet visit. But a slowly appearing scatter of black dots as your cat ages is nothing more than your cat's own version of freckling in the sun, a quiet little map of the years they've spent with you. Why calicos and tortoiseshells are the near miss. Remember how female cats need the orange gene twice to turn fully ginger? Here's what happens when a female only inherits it once. She doesn't come out plain, she comes out patched. In every cell of her body, one of her 2 X chromosomes randomly deactivates, so some patches of skin run the orange gene and neighboring patches run the dark gene instead. The result is a tortoiseshell, or if white is involved, a calico. That means calicos and tortoiseshells aren't separate categories of cat at all. They're carrying the exact same fire as a full orange cat, just split down the middle across their body. And because this whole process depends on having 2 X chromosomes, it's why nearly all calicos and tortoiseshells turn out to be female, and why, once in roughly every 3,000 cases, a genetic accident produces an extra X chromosome in a male cat, creating one of the rarest cats alive, a male calico. These cats are almost always unable to father kittens, but if you ever meet one, you're looking at a genuine biological rarity.
Part 3. Common mistakes owners make and what's really going on. This is where we fix some of the most common misreadings owners have about their own orange cats. Mistake 1. Thinking the screaming is bad behavior. Owners of quiet cats will never understand this one. Open a door and an orange cat chirps about it. Walk toward the kitchen and suddenly there's a full-blown argument happening around your ankles. And at 4 in the morning, for no discernible reason, they scream into an empty hallway. Here's what owners get wrong. They read this as bad behavior or attention-seeking. But frightened cats actually stay silent because in the wild, silence is how a nervous animal survives. Noise is a luxury only a cat that feels completely safe can afford. So when your cat yells at you because dinner arrived 30 seconds late, that isn't rudeness, it's an animal announcing to the entire house that it has absolutely nothing left in the world to fear. Mistake 2. Assuming the headbutt is just affection. You sit down and your orange cat walks straight into your leg, forehead first, then drags their cheek along you. Owners assume this is a cuddle. It's actually closer to paperwork. Cats carry scent glands in their cheeks and forehead, and pressing them against you is how they mark you as theirs, refreshing the signature daily so nobody forgets. A cautious cat touches and retreats. An orange cat throws their full weight into your shin and does it again in case the first hit didn't register. That's not shyness being overcome. That's an animal with zero doubt about who you belong to. Mistake 3. Misreading the purr. When your cat curls up on your chest and starts purring, most owners assume it only ever means one thing: happy. But cats purr when they're hurt, when they're afraid, and when they're healing alone in a corner where nobody can see them. Researchers who measured the frequency found that a cat's purr sits in a low band that's actually associated with helping bone and tissue repair. So a cat in pain will purr to help mend itself, which means that purr on your chest isn't only "I feel safe." Sometimes it's an animal that has decided the single safest place in the world to put itself back together again is on top of you. Mistake 4. Misreading making biscuits is random. Paws pushing slowly against you, left, right, eyes half closed, maybe a little drool. Everyone calls it making biscuits and laughs it off. But that motion is the exact one a kitten uses against its mother to bring milk down. The very first motor skill they ever learned before their eyes have even opened. A grown cat only reverts to it when something switches them all the way back to that early feeling of total safety. When your cat does this on your chest, they're not being weird. In that moment, you've become the thing every kitten spends its whole life looking for. Part 4. Deep Dive: The Orange Cats Who Made History. Now let's slow down for a story, because facts are one thing, but this next part is the reason orange cats have earned the reputation they have. In 2007, a homeless man in London named James Bowen was recovering from addiction when he found an injured ginger cat in the hallway of his building. He had almost nothing to his name, and he still spent what little money he had on medicine for that cat. The cat, later named Bob, refused to leave. He rode on his shoulders through the streets of London and sat beside him while he busked on the street for spare change. Slowly, people stopped walking past. They stopped for the cat, and in stopping, they finally saw the man underneath him. James got clean. He wrote a book about their relationship. It became a film. He said plainly more than once that the cat saved his life. Bob passed away in 2020, and a bronze statue of him now sits in Islington, London. One stray ginger cat, one man at the edge of everything, and from that hallway onward, everything changed for him. Orange cats have a long history of showing up in famous places too. Winston Churchill kept a beloved marmalade cat named Jock during his final years, and when his home at Chartwell was preserved for the public, one condition was written directly into the terms: a marmalade cat with white paws, always named Jock, must live there permanently. That tradition has continued for decades, with a new ginger cat carrying the name forward each time. To this day, a lineage of orange cats officially resides at one of history's most famous homes. And then there's Hollywood. Long before Garfield ever existed on a page, a real orange cat named Orangie worked alongside some of the biggest names in film, most famously appearing as Cat in Breakfast at Tiffany's. He won 2 Patsy Awards, essentially the animal world's version of an Oscar. The only cat in history to win it twice, despite reportedly being one of the most difficult animals on set to work with. Long before internet cat culture existed, a real ginger cat had already cemented the image of the charming, scene-stealing orange feline that we still associate with the color today. Part 5. The Final Secrets. Let's bring this all together with a few of the smaller, quieter details that tend to stick with people the longest. Their nose isn't just pink for no reason. It actually flushes. Watch it after they've been sprinting through the house or dozing in a warm patch of sun. It deepens in color as blood moves closer to the surface, the same thing that happens to their paw pads. In the most literal sense, an orange cat can blush. If your orange cat is male, his color did not come from his father. It couldn't have. That particular gene only passes from father to daughter, never to sons. Which means every orange male cat on the planet inherited his color from his mother alone. She may have been a barn cat nobody remembers, or a stray who never had a name, but the exact color that made you stop and pick him out of the litter is the last thing she ever gave him. And finally, when you watch your orange cat sit a few feet away, eyes half closed, doing absolutely nothing but facing you, that's not boredom. In cat body language, watching a person calmly while fully relaxed is something a cat reserves for exactly one purpose, something they've quietly decided to protect. They're not just looking at you, they're standing guard. Call to action and outro. So let's bring it back to where we started. 100 years of scientific mystery, a mutation that exists nowhere else in the animal kingdom, a coat that's secretly a tabby in disguise, and a personality so consistent across totally unrelated bloodlines that scientists still can't fully explain it. Orange cats aren't just a color. They're a genetic accident that turned into one of the most recognizable personalities in the entire animal world. And every single trait we covered today, from the freckles to the headbutts to that 4 in the morning scream, has a real reason behind it. Here's your next step. If you own an orange cat, go find them right now. Seriously, pause the video and look at their forehead for that M marking and check their nose for the first hint of freckling. You'll see it once you know what you're looking for, and you won't be able to unsee it again. Then drop a comment and tell us the single most ridiculous thing your orange cat has ever done. We read every one of them, and the best story gets pinned to the top of the comments this week. If this video changed the way you look at your own cat, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button, because we've got a lot more of these deep dives coming. Real science, real history, and the facts that actually explain why your cat does the things it does. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.